Dinner time. Genesis 47. Then Joseph went and spoke to Pharaoh and said, "My father and my brothers, their flocks and their herds, and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan, and see, they are in the land of Goshen." And he took 5 men from among his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to his brothers, "What is your occupation?" And they said to Pharaoh, "Your servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers." And they said to Pharaoh, "We have come to dwell in the land, because there is no pasture for your servants' flocks, for the scarcity of food is severe in the land of Canaan. And now please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen." And Pharaoh spoke to Joseph, saying, "Your father and your brother have come to you. The land of Mizraim is before you. Settle your father and brothers in the best of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know of capable men among them, then make them chief herds over men over my livestock, chief herdsmen over my livestock." And Joseph brought in his father Yaakov and set him before Pharaoh. And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Yaakov, "How old are you?" And Yaakov said to Pharaoh, "The days of the years of my sojourning are 130 years. Few and evil have been the days of the years of my life, and they have not reached the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their sojourning." And Yaakov blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph settled his father and his brothers and gave them a possession in the land of Mizraim, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with bread for the mouth of the little ones. Now there was no bread in the land, because the scarcity of food was very severe. And scarcity of food was... And the land of Mizraim and all the land of Canaan became exhausted from the scarcity of food. And Joseph gathered up all the silver that was found in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan for the grain which they bought. And Joseph brought the silver into Pharaoh's house. And when the silver was all spent in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Canaan, all the Mizrahites came to Joseph and said, "Give us bread, for why should we die in your presence? For the silver is gone." And Joseph said, "Give your livestock, and I give you bread for your livestock, if the silver is gone." So they brought their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for the horses, and for the flocks they owned, and for the herds they owned, and for the donkeys. Thus he fed them with bread in exchange for all their livestock that year. And when that year had ended, they came to him the next year and said to him, "We do not hide from our master that our silver is all spent, and my master also has the livestock we owned. There has not been left any before my master, but our bodies and our lands. Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and let us and our land be servants to Pharaoh, and give us seed, and let us live and not die, and let the land not lie waste." And Joseph brought the entire land of Mizraim to Pharaoh, because every man of the Mizrahites sold his field, because the scarcity of food was severe upon them, and the land came to Pharaoh's. And as for the people, he moved them into the cities, from one end of the borders of Mizraim to the other end. Only the ground of the priest he did not buy. For the priest had from what Pharaoh gave them by law, and they ate that which Pharaoh gave them by law. Therefore, they did not sell their ground. And Yosef said to the people, "Look, I have brought you and your land today for Pharaoh. Look, here is seed for you, and you shall sow the land. And it shall be, in the harvest you shall give 1/5 to Pharaoh, and 4/5 is your own, as seed for the field, and for your food, and for those of your households, and as for food for your little ones." And they said, "You have saved our lives. Let us find favor in the eyes of my master, and we shall become Pharaoh's servants." And Yosef made it a law over the land of Mizraim to this day, that Pharaoh should have 1/5, except for the ground of the priests only, which did not become Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Mizraim and in the land of Goshen, and they had possessions there, and were fruitful and increased exceedingly. And Yaakov lived in the land of Mizraim 17 years. So the length of Yaakov's life was 147 years. And the time for Israel to die drew near, and he called his son Joseph and said to him, "Now, if I have found favor in your eyes, please put your hand under my thigh and show loving commitment and truth to me. Please do not bury me in Mizraim, but I shall lie with my fathers, and you shall take me up out of Mizraim and bury me in the burial place." And he said, "I do as you have said." And he said, "Swear to me." And he swore to him, and Israel bowed himself on the head of the bed. And after these events it came to be that it was said to Yosef, "See, your father is sick." And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, and Yaakov was told, "See to it, Yosef is coming to you." And Israel strengthened himself and sat up on the bed. And Yaakov said to Yosef, "El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz." Just making sure I didn't skip a page. El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me, and said to me, "See, I am making you fruitful, and shall increase you and make of you an assembly of peoples, and give this land to your seed after you in an everlasting possession." And now your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Mizraim, before I came to you in Mizraim, are mine. As Reuben and Shimon, they are mine. Your offspring, whom you shall bring forth after them, are yours, and let them be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. And I, when I came from Padan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, and I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem. And Yisrael saw Joseph's sons and said, "Who are these?" And Joseph said to his father, "They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place." And he said, "Please bring them to me, and let me bless them." And the eyes of Yisrael were dim with age, and he was unable to see. And he drew them near him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Yisrael said to Yosef, "I had not thought to see your face, but see, Elohim has also shown me your seed." So Yosef brought them forth between his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Yosef took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Yisrael's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand toward Yisrael's right hand, and brought them near him. And Yisrael stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, consciously directing his hands, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he blessed Yosef and said, "The Elohim, before whom my father Abraham and Yitzhak walked, the Elohim who has fed me all my life long to this day, the messenger who redeemed me from all evil, bless the youths. And let my name be called upon them, in the name of my fathers Abraham and Yitzhak, and let them increase to a multitude in the midst of the earth." And when Yosef saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it was evil in his eyes, and he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh. And Yosef said to his father, "Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." But his father refused and said, "I know, my son, I know. He also becomes a people, and he also is great. And yet his younger brother is greater than he, and his seed is to become the completeness of the nations." And he blessed them on that day, saying, "In you Yisrael shall bless, saying, Elohim make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh." Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. And Yisrael said to Yosef, "See, I am dying, but Elohim shall be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. And I have given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite, with my sword and with my bow."